just a little longer.
All right, everybody, and we are back with our next game. We are going to be showcasing this awesome run Scalar any percent by Harsh with Vertigo on the couch. So without any further ado, I'm going to kick it off to the both of you. Good luck and have fun.
Thanks so much. So hi everyone, this is Scalar. This is an early 2000s 3D collectathon, similar to Ratchet & Clank and Spyro. So we'll get more into the game as we go. If my guest commentator would like to introduce themselves, that'd be great.
Hey, I'm Vertigo. I also speedrun this game, and I hold the world record.
Nice flex. Anyway, so timer's going to start when I click New Game. So I'll do a countdown on 5 when I get to New Game. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Alright, so this game has a lot of cinematics and stuff. We'll be skipping most of them. I plan to show a couple of them just for the marathon and the story. So first off, we're going to be going through a lot of slides. Scalar has a lot of slides. It likes doing this roller coaster kind of thing where you just avoid a bunch of obstacles along the way. We have our first introduction to these collectibles called Cloakies. Basically, they're our money for the game. We use them to buy upgrades and such. I'll get into the upgrades later on. We need to collect a lot of them, and there's going to be points where we're going to be grinding for quite a bit of them. So, Charm Room is the first level. It's pretty much your standard tutorial level. Just, beat up enemies, beat up cocoon things. These cocoons are actually called surprise cocoons, according to the manual. So, this is one of those games that has a lot of, things you can just stand on and just kind of go out of bounds and just hop around everything. It's pretty neat. So, we just collected there a crystal gem. Basically, they give us 500 Cloakies, so we try to get as many as possible. And here's our first cutscene, and I'm going to be quiet for this because this is amazing.
Whoa! You're one ugly figment of my imagination.
You aren't so easy on the eyes either, small, blue, and gruesome.
You talk?
Only to ugly blue creatures. Name's Leon.
Leon. That was my father's name.
Was?
He left us when I was young.
Oh, that's rough, kid.
Kid? How about you call me Scalar?
Really? This must be yours. Movie abuses lizard on set, activist protests at premiere. 12-year-old boy scales Exop building to save the lizards. Kid lives in tree for 4 months to protect unique lizard habitat. You're quite the troublemaker.
Lizard freedom fighter, thank you.
Oh, don't get me wrong, I like rebels, especially lizard freedom fighting rebels.
Hey, tell me something. When do I wake up from this freak show?
Wake up. This is no dream.
Okay, have it your way. You're not a dream.
Oh no, have it your way. I'm just a dream. I've got work to do.
Okay, that was interesting. Scalar just happens to have a father also named Leon. I wonder what that could be implying. Guess we'll never know. So right here we just did a skip to basically skip a slide section. We'll be skipping quite a few slide bits because those are essentially auto-scrollers, and our first major skip is going to be going from this hut by hopping on the corner of the ledge and then using the tongue to extend our distance. We can extend our jump and get a nice, extended jump. This will be one of the things we use quite a bit. And then the next thing we're going to be doing is using the camera to essentially skip these battle arenas. I'll let Vertigo, explain this.
Yeah, so when you go into first person, sometimes in the arenas, they'll stop the arenas from triggering. So it kind of allows us to input a jump right after we go out of first person, and it just lets us skip it.
Yep.
Pretty easy.
Yep, and right here, I did a death abuse because when you stand on certain spots in this game, you can trigger a checkpoint. So by standing on, like, that corner and then death abusing, we can just get to this corner and get the egg. So our main source collectibles are lizard eggs. These are basically like the Mario Power Stars of the game. You need 20 of them to beat the game, and you need all of them. So unlike Mario 64, we can't just, get whichever ones we want. But yeah, that was the first level. We're going to do a quick, pause during this little map transition to skip, a mini cutscene. That's a little bit of time. And Bacaldo will be a very focus-intensive level for me, so I'm going to let Vertigo kind of go into more of this stage, because there's quite a lot that we do. Well, I guess the first thing we're going to do is, transformations. So transformations are, the gimmick of this game. If you've ever played Banjo-Kazooie, it's kind of like those. They're basically just exclusive to Worlds, and they let you, do a variety of things. To unlock the transformations, we need to kill an X amount of a certain enemy in every stage, and you get the transformation. So in this case, it's the bomb guy, otherwise known as the Bakudan. And we're going to be using our slam move we're going to be using our lick move to stun the enemies, and the slam move to just kill them fast. Okay, so we're going to use the electricity also to unlock the shell. Electricity we'll be using a lot more later on. Basically, it stuns enemies and unlocks shells. And wow, these enemies are just all over the place. Avoid the explosive mushrooms. Yes, these fireball things in the background, they're mushrooms. I was shocked the first time I saw it. So, there we go, we got the Bakudan transformation. Bakudan lets us throw a bomb and do some explosive stuff. Vertigo, if you'd like to take away the next section.
Yeah, and this next section's another introduction to crawling. It's not anything crazy, just kind of crawl on walls and stuff. It's only real basic. But after that, there's going to be some pretty interesting stuff happening. I'll explain it when we get to it.
Oh yeah, so there's going to be some more crawling and stuff. Not really any way we can skip this, unfortunately. Occasionally, spiders and stuff will come up, so you gotta be wary of them. I kinda just like to mash, I kinda just like to mash the lick button a lot during this. Okay. So, we're almost done with this part. Upcoming is, I guess you could say, the first, major skip of the level. First off, getting another crystal gem, because grinding as many early as possible is good. So we kind of hop on, collisions and stuff on certain, platforms, and by abusing that, we can just, we just skip this whole, crawling section and stand on this ledge. And now here's the bomb jump.
Nice. So what happened there was, there's a rock at the bottom, and when you're a Bakudan and you jump off of a sliding, float collision, you will just have a ton of speed. When you throw a bomb, I think it locks your momentum, and if you use the bomb after a jump, the game still considers you to be in a grounded state, so shortly afterwards you can jump again, gaining a lot of distance.
I just barely made that. So right there, we just did a tech in this game called an SSJ, or a Super Slam Jump. Vertigo knows more about this than I do.
Yeah, slam slide jump. It's pretty much when you slam on the edge of a platform, or just a slope in general, you will get a ton of speed, kind of like how you did with the Bacodon off a slope. It works very similar. During the slam animation, the game still considers you grounded, so you can just gain a ton of distance with it.
Yep. And back there, we actually talked to Leon. So Leon is how we purchase upgrades in the game. We bought the first claws upgrade, and it was the Iron Claws. Basically, it just does more damage to enemies, and we need to get the. There's another claws upgrade we're gonna grind for later on. And as you can see here, just kind of more abusing like the background elements of the game to our advantage to skip certain sections.
Another thing that Hush just did was a different kind of arena skip using bunny hopping. In this game, when you use a tongue attack shortly after you've jumped, you can input a jump shortly before you touch the ground, and Scalar will perform a jump slightly above the ground, and allowing us to skip the trigger.
Yep. And here we go, we're going to demonstrate it once again. So the trick I kind of found, well, I guess Vertigo rather found to it, is just we kind of slide press like the lick and the I guess jump button at the same time, and that's what kind of gives you like the little bunny hop state. So right here we're about to do another skip. It skips like a cave section, and casually these cave sections take quite a bit of time. So we're doing like basically a bomb jump once again. We did one earlier to skip like a whole crawling section. This one just skips like going through like caves and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, overall, Scalar's a pretty straightforward, like, game. It's nothing really too complicated about it. But I particularly like just kind of like all the speed tech in it, and like one skip coming up later on is like the main reason why I got into this game. Ah, darn. Didn't quite get the wall there. Alright, so we're gonna do another bunny hop, or at least attempt it. Ah, we didn't make it. But that's okay, backup strats. So another way to escape arenas is when you're about to get attacked by an enemy, if you transform at the same time, you can escape the arenas. And then right there I just did a trigger checkpoint death abuse, so I hopped in the corner of the wall and then just death abuse to trigger the checkpoint. Did another bunny hop, and that's the egg right there. That was Bacaldo. And quitting the level rather than just waiting for the transition is faster. So we have our first boss fight. I guess I can let Vertigo go over this.
Yeah, so this boss has 3 phases. Every phase there's these, I guess, nodes that you have to destroy with the Bakudan. And once you destroy them, the force field comes down and you just attack them. And then it kind of just adds more nodes each phase.
Yep. And we bought the Iron Claws also earlier in Bakudan. Bacaldo. Basically, it just does more damage to this boss, and it saves like a couple seconds. And once again, abusing the slam move to do more damage output. So, since this boss is pretty straightforward, I could go into, I guess a little bit about the eggs. So, like, the eggs, I'm gonna be skipping the cutscene, but the eggs basically, hatch into these, like, mutant, like, reptile creatures, and the bad guys in this game are trying to mutate these eggs so that they can try to create a mutant lizard army to take over the multiverse. I'll get into the story, I guess, a little more once we have more downtime, but for now we have the 3rd level. This is Clonium. this was one of the first levels I kind of liked. When I played this game, it's kind of like tropical, little rainforesty. This game just has like a big like jungle-y theme to it. And yeah, we're using the luck move to kill the small enemies, just to get as many cloakies as possible. This level has just little flowers. You hop on flowers to get unlockables. So this level also has like a transformation we get. There are 5 enemies. In this case, these are the Crocs, I think they're called. Basically, they just roll and like go fast. We have to kill 5 of them to unlock the transformation. And unlike the other levels, we can't really skip any of the arenas in this stage. Well, except for one, which I'm going to try to do. So these ones are required. And we're going to attempt a bunny hop skip here. Ah, we didn't get it. Dang. Okay. Yeah, that skip is actually pretty tricky to do. Like, I've gotten pretty lucky on it in runs, but it's only like a 10-15 second time loss if you don't get it. But we also have the introduction to this dude. I don't even know what he's called. I've always just kind of called him the electric armed guy. He has a little bit of RNG to him in that he can shoot these, like, I don't even know what they're called, like, electric bubbles? That's what they look like to me. He can shoot those and basically waste, like, some time. And, you know, time is, of the essence in this. Got anything to add, Vertigo?
Yeah, the big guy, RNG, like you said, you can only damage him when he does a ground pound attack, where he gets his hand stuck in the ground. So it's just complete luck if you get it or not.
Do you mind if I cut in real quick?
Oh yeah, perfect.
Alright, I want to give a huge shout out to Paul Saltine for that $20 donation, saying, "You guys rock." You know what, Paul Saltine? You rock. Thank you so much for that donation. Everybody remember the exclamation point donate will get you to that Tiltify link. Every little bit goes to the Organization for Autism Research, and we appreciate it all. Thank you so much.
Okay. So, I guess, like, a little thing I can talk about. So, these enemies that spin, I take damage from them intentionally just to cancel out their spin animation and just attack them faster. A little maneuver I try to do with these ball guys also is to kind of hug them in the corner so they can't, like, you know, run all the way to the edge. So here's our next power-up, the Croc. I always just kind of saw it as, like, the Sonic the Hedgehog power-up because he goes fast and he speed boosts. The first thing we're going to do is skip my friend TFX Mortal actually found when we were, like, first casually playing this game. He ran Scooby-Doo Night at Haunted Frights earlier today. And this section is basically just, we just go through, like, a bunch of time trials. We just try to get to, like, the gates at the end. Nothing too complex about it. Occasionally enemies show up and you can use the spike ball to go. This dude is pretty broken, honestly. I wish he was in more levels. Alright. And next skip is hopping over this to skip yet another slide. So, like, you know, it doesn't look like, you know, it's saving all that much by just doing all these skips, but, like, skipping all these, like, little auto-scrolly slide sections, like, you know, reduces so much time throughout the run, and this game loves to just kind of do all these slide things and, like, enemy spam, so, like, skipping all of them is just, like, huge for the run. Like, we brought this, like, when I started running this game, the record was, like, 2 hours and 11 minutes, I think, and now we've brought it down to 1 hour 23. So, yeah, that was the first egg. Now we're gonna pretty much do more of the same thing, except we're gonna go on the right side. So, that skip I did earlier basically skips having us go to the left section, which essentially leads to the same thing. It's like 10 seconds of time save, so it's not, like, anything huge. Like, it's not the end of the world if you don't get it. But yeah, it's just more roller coaster. Do you have anything yet, Vertigo?
All that I can think of right now.
Okay. I kind of like the movement with the ball guy. He's called the Croc, but I just call him ball guy because it's easier. Whoa! That was not supposed to happen. Or don't want to go off the edge. Wow. Playing risky frisky today. Anyway, yeah. Volume's chill level. Nothing too much about it. It'll get a little more, I guess, interesting once we get to the next stage. I guess one thing I could mention is these little rails. So, like, it looks like I'm jumping earlier than I should be to, like, you know, make the gap. Believe me, if you try jumping, like, you know, like, at the very end, like, you will fall down. Like, it's kind of precise when you have to jump sometimes, so I like to go a little earlier just to kind of save, just to play it a little more safe and just guarantee the making. So, that was Clonium. We got 2 eggs from there. This is Altus, our 4th world. This level's pretty cool. I kind of like its snowy kind of environment, mountainy. So this level has an upgrade, but this is the first upgrade in the run we actually skip. I guess Vertigo can go more into that if you want.
Yeah, so this level introduces tar pits, or well, at least that's what I call them. They pretty much, if you stand on them, a big claw will just come out and pretty much eat you. Similar to arena skips with bunny hopping, you can do the same on tar pits, and just skip the camouflage upgrade altogether. There's a lot of tar pits throughout the whole game, and a few other bits and pieces that require camouflage that we managed to skip, but we'll get to that bit later.
Yeah, and the camouflage is basically just kind of like a stealth kind of mode for the game. It's kind of similar to the crawling we were doing earlier, except you're doing it on tar, I guess. So here's our gimmick for the level. This little like dark world, light world kind of gimmick. Basically, it just summons platforms. And by turning off like the different plants to trigger like the light and dark world, it just like spawns platforms and despawns platforms.
And some enemies as well.
Okay, so now here's the next skip. First off, we're gonna get rid of these cocoons just to get them out of the way. Woo!
Oh, first try.
Ooh, I'm just barely making some of these.
So that was another SSJ. It skips quite a big chunk. It skips a little crawling section, another enemy spam, and taking down a force field.
So
Saves a
right,
ton of time.
yep. So right here, we're gonna buy the 2 bomb upgrades from Leon. We're gonna be using these for the next boss fight. We'll get to there when we get there. And here's basically once again using the bunny hopping to skip the tar, to also skip the camouflage upgrade. We use this quite a bit throughout the run. There's like 2 or 3 more levels where we use this, and so bunny hopping is probably one of the most important things to learn in this game if you're ever gonna run it, because getting it down can really skip a lot. And right here we're gonna do like a quick platform like kind of skip. It just skips kind of trekking to like the other side of the island. We're gonna break the wall there. And just ignore all the enemies, because it's not really worth going out of way to fight them. I'm also at 1 health. So one of the upgrades we actually get, you can get is health. For this run, I'm not going to be buying any health. There's like 3 health packs I think you can get in the game. But for this run, we're going to go for 3 health. It doesn't really, like, mean much in the beginning, but, like, later on, like, your health actually does, like, you know, having higher health, like, definitely has a, you know, a bigger impact on the game, because, like, if you, you know, fail, then you can, you can get sent into wrong checkpoints, and, it can be stressful, let's put it that way. Anyway, spawning more platforms with the Dark World thing. How do you like this gimmick, Vertigo? I think it's kind of cool. Like, it's very atmospheric.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool touch. It's the only level in the game that does it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they don't really do much with it, but I think it could have been cooler if, like, I don't know, if it like, I don't know, if it was used in more, like, I guess, puzzle kind of environments instead of just summoning platforms and that's it.
I just think a lot of the levels were a little rushed in some places.
Yeah. So I guess one thing I didn't mention is, so, like, in every level, so, like, most levels have, like, two eggs, and they usually have, like, branching paths. This game kind of lets you do eggs in whatever order you want, but at the same time kind of doesn't. So, like, you know, you can pick which egg you want to get, but at the end you have to get both of them anyway, so... Because at the end you need all 20 eggs to unlock the final boss. So it ends up kind of not really, you know, being as, you know, cool as, you know, as initially sounds. Okay, so that is Altus. We're gonna get out of here and go to our next boss fight. So this is Luger's Henchmen. Basically, they're these three people we saw in the beginning cutscene. Not a lot gets really elaborated about them. They're kind of just Luger's goons. The basic premise of, like, these fights is just we use electricity. We use one of our electricity bombs to stun them, and then we abuse the slam move to kill each of them. If you'd like to go into more detail, Bert.
We mostly spend the slam attack because it does 2 hits instead of, like, the usual one with the regular ground attacks. Sometimes in these boss fights you can get, I think you get stuck inside of them, and you can deal a ton of damage, like almost half their health in one hit, one slam. And we don't know exactly how it works yet, but we hope to figure it out soon.
So right there, I wasn't actually supposed to stun the second guy. I meant to save it for later, but I've gotten in the habit of doing it just because of, like, old routes. So all it means is I'll just have to, like, get an egg or something, or a crystal later on to make up for it. So stunning this third guy is especially important because this guy takes probably wastes the most time with his animations. He does, like, a flamethrower attack, I think, and you can't really hit him while he's doing the flamethrower attack, so it's best to just stun him and just slam abuse until you win. Alright, so next up we have Vertigo's favorite level in the game.
Oh, totally. So this is Desolam. It's pretty much all it is a racetrack. I think there's 5 different time trials. Yeah, so there's 5 different time trials, and I think you got to do 4 of them to get the egg. You redo some of them because they reward you with crystal gems. If you redo some of them with like less time. That's pretty much the basics of it. There's a couple shortcuts in the track that are important to take to save tons of time. That's pretty much it.
Yep. And right here we got a little turret section. This is basically Star Fox 64. We're just kind of we're using the little like dinosaur thing that we're using to fly to kind of shoot these little I don't even know what they're called. They're just kind of like floating rock things. I don't know, it's just kind of like a nice way to, I guess, give yourself a tour of the level before we dive in. We get to we do more with the turret later on. So yeah, first time trial. So at each time trial, the ball goes at a different speed. So for this first one, we're taking a slightly different path than we would for the other time trials, just because the ball just doesn't go as fast. So there's like a shortcut at the left I would normally take, but because the ball just goes slow and we don't end up being able to make the there's like a shortcut you can later on that's coming up right here that you can technically make, but it's not very consistent.
I've been working on making that more consistent. I'm using like visual cues and stuff, but still need to fine tune it.
Well, that was weird. It just said I went the wrong way over there, but I was like in the rings. Okay. So speaking of rings, rings basically just give us a little speed boost. So try to go through as many as possible. And then here's just kind of our little shortcut we take. For the record, we'll be using this shortcut every single time we go through this track. So hope you like caves and deserts, because it's kind of this level in a nutshell. It's kind of boring, to be honest. It's pretty like straightforward. It's nothing like overly challenging or anything. It's just you just go through a racetrack a bunch of times. Alright, so here's the second race. Basically the same thing, except we're racing a dragon. Oh boy, the stakes are high. But, you know, this isn't Mario Kart, so, you know, this dragon does not have any rubber band AI of any kind, so he is very, very, very slow, as you can see, like, on the little map there. Like, look, we're already, like, plowing him. Right there, we just took the shortcut I was alluding to earlier. This ball goes a little... In this race, the ball goes a little faster, so we're able to make the jump.
The dragon also doesn't take any shortcuts, so it just makes it all the more easier.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really a whole lot to say about this stage, because it's kind of the same thing for, like, 5 minutes. I guess it's, like, a nice break, you know, like, from all, like, the stressful tricks and stuff we do earlier on, because it just kind of gives you, you know, a place to, okay, you know, I can kind of relax in my speed run. Yeah, if there's any kind of like donation readings or anything, this would be a good time.
Alright, no donations in yet. I want to remind everybody that we are raising money for the Organization for Autism Research. It's a parent-led, science-based organization that tries to spread awareness for autism and try to enhance the quality of life for individuals with autism. Instead of funding case and cure, the fund goes directly to the individual's needs on everyday tasks, such as education, parent and teacher training, and self-care. If you'd like to support or do exclamation mark donate. Every little bit helps, and we are 660 out of our $1,000 goal. We are ever creeping closer, and you know what? I'm pretty sure we can beat that $1,000. What do you think, chat?
I'm not chat, but I think you got this. Alright, so that's the end of that race. This is the next race, which is basically go through the track twice, but with a timer instead of racing a dragon. Innovation! Since there's not really a whole lot to say at this point, I guess I can kind of go into like a little bit of like the lore of Scalar. So we saw the cutscene at the beginning of the game where we met up with Leon. Basically, he's just this dude that just kind of shows up. Scalar said that you know, like he has a father named Leon. I wonder if that's going to I wonder if that's foreshadowing to something later on. But yeah, the villains of the game, so like the big bad guy is basically Luger. The three guys we fought in the last fight, they're like his goons. Basically, they're just trying to create an army of mutant lizards by stealing all these eggs to take over the world. And Scalar is, I guess we could describe him as a bit of a rebel. Like he's kind of like a lizard like activist. We didn't really watch the first cutscene, but in the first cutscene, he's just getting like you know, shock tortured by like them all to basically. I don't actually know why they're torturing him. I guess it's just he just kind of intruded upon their evil schemes, and they're like, okay, we got to kidnap him. And what happens is they shock him to death. He turns into a lizard, and then they use some kind of like button thing to send him to an alternate dimension. And now Scalar is trying to escape from like this alternate dimension kind of thing. Honestly, the plot is a little bit like of a mess. Scalar is actually like a human being in the cutscene. He's like this kid named Bobby. He's like some 11-year-old. They don't really do a whole lot with the human cast, unfortunately, so there's not really much to go off of. And those guys we fought in the last boss fight, they don't really get a lot of like they don't really get a lot of story. They just kind of are there. I think one of them's like a CEO, another one's like a director or something. And so like they just kind of exist. Alright, so this is the last of the races. This isn't really a race. This is kind of more just we destroy a bunch of cocoons. You have to destroy 250, and that's about it. Nothing really special about it. Vertigo wants to go in more into this.
I mean, there's not really much else to go into. It's the only different thing on this level, aside from the time trials for racing around the level. Just destroying cocoons. I don't think we've actually tried working on an optimal path for it yet, but
yeah, I kind of just like to go slow and just get all the early ones. At least I think that's like efficient, but yeah, if you're 100%ing this game, you have to do this challenge 3 times, and the only difference is there's like a less of a time trial. And if you're 100%ing the rest of the level, you have to do basically all of the tracks and these 3 things for a total of 11 times. And that takes around like 23 minutes. So this is like your vacation spot if you ever run 100% on this game. Alright, so I like to have like 230 approximately here, and then once I get to like this little middle section, I just kind of like to go whoop! Yeah, so after we do the cocoon challenge thing, we move on to the next stage. The next stage is a lot more exciting because there is a lot more cool stuff happening. And we're going to do our first major skip. I'll let Vertigo explain that.
alright, this is Caratus. I broke this level in a day. Pretty much if you go over a certain part of a wall, or walls only go so high, so once you get over them, there's no collision behind them, and you can just go pretty much wherever, as long as there's something to stand on. What Harsh just did was, he just fell to the bottom of the level, right where an egg is. So we just skipped maybe like six minutes of gameplay getting
Yeah.
to that egg, just like that.
It's like slides and going through caves. Anyway, the second egg we're gonna actually get for real. Sorta. So we got more tar, so we're gonna use the bunny hops again to get through them. There's a lot of enemies in this stage, so they just kind of pop up. We're gonna jump on this rock and skip like a little section. I think it's like a slide or something we skip to get up here. I haven't played this gate level casually in like so long, so I don't even remember. Also gotta be careful with these. This level also has the claw dudes from Altis. They can be really, really mean, like if you don't get the bunny hops. Okay. And next up we have more crawling sections. I think this is actually probably one of my... this is probably like part of my favorite. This is like probably my favorite, one of my favorite parts of the speedrun. Because it's... this level's not like too difficult, like, or anything. Like, there's not like a whole lot, but... You know, it just feels like it's just kind of the right amount of, like, you know, skips and the right amount of, like, you know, chill. Anything worth mentioning at this point?
Not really. We're just doing a little bit of small, like, skips of the crawling.
Yep.
There's the less time we're crawling, the better.
Oh yeah.
So
you'll
sometimes
occasionally
try
see me
to...
like jump off like platforms and stuff just to skip, you know, like starting through like part of like the slides crawling sections. I guess the one thing to mention is we are grinding for 10,000 cloakies right now because we need that to get the next major upgrade about 3 levels from now. So, yeah, we're just avoiding these crawly dudes and jumping off whenever we can. Actually, we'll kill some enemies just to bring cloakies. I don't think I need to, though. I'm just doing it to play it safe. And,
yeah, this is the last, I think, what, crawling section here, and you can just stand on the sides of the... I don't even know what they're called, but you can stand on the side of the crawling parts and just skip a pretty big chunk of crawling.
Yep. Yeah.
Pretty
Overall,
basic.
that level takes like 5 minutes. It's pretty fast. So yeah, next boss fight. You remember that one little turret section we did in Desolam? Well, imagine that, except we're doing a boss fight with it. So, yeah, this guy is just an auto-scroller. Basically, whenever his dots kind of like are lighting up, that's when you shoot him with the turrets. I like to hold down the A button, I think it is, we press, to just basically get 10 free shots. I believe it's faster just to mash, but I'm not a good masher, so I'm just gonna hold it down.
This boss fight's just A buttons and scroller, to be honest.
Yep. And right here we probably have the longest section, so we're just trying to attack like the top parts of the dots, and then his little minions can show up, and you have to occasionally get rid of them. It's actually important to kill them because having high health for this boss fight is very important, especially if you're going at 3 health, because these little guys can just kind of come out of nowhere and just sneak behind you. And sometimes the rattle crab will also just kind of go over there like off camera, and he'll do like this fireball attack, and sometimes, you know, he'll do it while he's doing the little transition. And if he does it during the transition, there's no way you can avoid it, and you're gonna get hit by the fireball attack and possibly die. Yeah. Pretty straightforward, though. I remember dying a lot when I like played this played this boss casually because I like had no idea what to do and I didn't know where every one of these guys were.
Definitely one of the worst bosses in the game. Well, is the worst boss in the game.
Yeah.
It's just not very fun.
Yeah, so after we beat this boss, there is going to be a little bit of a cutscene, like another cutscene. This is the last cutscene I plan on showing off. That's kind of relevant to the story. I just want to show it off just because it's hilarious, and it absolutely needs to be seen by people. So there's this little fireball attack, so occasionally he'll make we have to switch from hitting his little middle. I'll call it a belly button. Occasionally we'll have to hit his like tail instead of a belly button. Kind of a shame you don't get any cloakies like by beating all these enemies.
I think there's some balloons in one section of the level that you can shoot. That give you some, I think. I'm not entirely sure. Since they're extremely difficult to hit anyway.
Jeez, this is not a very good boss fight.
That was close. There we go.
There we go. So, that's that boss down, and I'm going to be quiet for this amazing cutscene.
Leon? Hello? Leon!
Your mom's named Jillian.
How do you know? What's going on?
It's all coming back to me. I understand.
I don't. So fill me in, okay?
Remember when you told me that your father left you when you were young?
Yeah. My mom raised me on her own. She had to work 2 jobs.
Your father, he didn't leave you.
Yeah? Well, what do you know, you ugly lizard freak?
Listen to me. Long ago, back in my glory days, I was a research scientist studying the portal phenomenon. I had just created the portal beacon and accidentally got sucked into this world. Luger captured me. He took the beacon and tortured me to find out how it worked. I never cracked. Never.
So what's this have to do with my father not leaving me?
My last name was Jenkins. And my wife's name was Jillian.
Get out!
Bobby!
You're my father?
Bobby, I'm so proud of you.
Proud of me? You don't even know me. And I certainly don't know you.
I understand. This is going to take a little time.
Yeah. I think a lot of time.
Wow, what a plot twist! Leon is our father? I did not see that coming. Yeah, that seems pretty great. Moving on, we're on to our next level, Medusum. I think this is probably one of the prettiest levels in the game. You know, it's pretty simple. It's like straightforward platforming. There's a couple skips here and there we'll do when we get there, but I just like it because it's just pretty chill for the most part. Like, it looks nice. There's giant jellyfish everywhere. We're doing an arena skip here to skip some enemies. There's not too many arenas in this one, and as you can see by the bottom right corner, we also have a transformation we need to get.
Yes, some arenas have weird sizes in their triggers, so sometimes you can actually jump on the edge of the platform and it won't trigger the arena, whereas others extend out beyond the edge of the platform, so even if you do jump right on the edge, it'll just pull you into the arena. Luckily, Medusum is one of the levels where all arenas can just be skipped by jumping around the edge. Makes them so much easier.
Yep. So, avoiding the little electric jellyfish. They're probably the most annoying enemies in this stage. I don't think we've seen these puppy things yet. First introduction to them. They're just basically just like clams, but they just take 2 hits instead of 1, so like they just become kind of like your standard enemies at this stage.
I mean, they're in Kurotis.
Were they in Kurotis? Oh.
Yeah, they are.
Must just not
in
noticed.
the crawling section.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so we're doing another arena skip. There's only actually 2 arenas in this stage, I believe.
There's 3, but we skipped the 3rd one entirely.
Oh yeah. Yeah, these arenas are probably some of the easier ones to do because you don't have to do bunny hops. I'm sure you can do bunny hops to skip them, but I don't think it would be as efficient because you're on a lower level compared to like the other ones. And I think it's this section that has the skip we're gonna do.
Yes. This platform is supposed to just hold the crystal gem for you and you're supposed to turn around, but using like standard collision, we can just jump around this little corner and head towards the final section instead of having to go back and do the other arena.
Yep. Oh, and Medusum is the level we're going to be doing most of our crystal gem collecting, well, at least for me. I'm going to need to get 10,000 before the next level. And getting like as many crystal gems as possible is like really nice, because a lot of the ones, you know, in Venusum are, you know, just kind of right there, like here's a clam, you just use the electricity to shoot. You know, overall, pretty chill level, kind of like Karatis and Desolam a little bit, except this one is just more visually interesting, I think.
Don't die.
Hey, I'm the one health wonder.
I've been like that for most of the run, actually.
Yeah. Oh, it's just so easy to get kind of hit by everything in this game, so it's like you're gonna be at low health for the most part. Anyway,
that's another crazy thing.
Yep. Anyway, here's our mini boss for the level. Basically, you can just stand in the corner and just avoid all of his attacks and just completely cheese it. And when he summons his like little big fireballs, you just spit them back with the lick attack. Yeah, he's pretty straightforward. So, oh yeah, like unlike I guess unlike the some of the other levels where we got transformations, in this one we only have to beat this mini boss, and we don't have to like kill like 5 of these guys. It's something I kind of wish they did more of in this game, like where you could fight more. I don't know, where there's like more mini bosses instead of like the constant enemy spamming.
Don't forget the crystal gems.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get the crystal gems that are below here. Thank you for the reminder. I'm actually short. So earlier I shocked one of the second guy in the henchman fight. I wasn't supposed to do that because that would have let me get a crystal gem in Karatis, but because I did, I'm gonna get these 2 to make up for it. This gem right here I think is actually worth it just because there's so many like gems and stuff, and I guess it's a little out of the way, but it's not too bad. So Duzum, he lets us fly and like kind of just glide. This is the only level where you get to play him as, unfortunately. So these are ring challenges. Basically, you just fly through rings, you know, Superman 64 style. Except unlike that game, this game actually functions properly, and you can, you know, beat up enemies, you can have a nice, like, visual of everything. There's not really a whole lot to say about this section, because it's just kind of fairly straightforward. You get a crystal gem at the end of this this challenge. So, which is one of the ones we factor in when we gem collect. Oh yeah, these little bug guys also give us like cloakies. So this is actually not too bad of like a grinding spot either, because you get quite a few just from doing these ring challenges. So just another reason why Medusa is one of the best levels to just get all your cloakies and stuff in. Okay, that is that level. Now we're gonna do the second challenge, which is more of the same thing, except this time we get introduced to a gliding move, or no, not a gliding move, a quick turn. That's what it is. It's nothing special. You just like hold the trigger down, and you just can like, you know, go a little more left or right and turn. You use it a couple times in this tunnel. Managing your speed boost is also very important, just to kind of get through it more quickly.
Yeah, this challenge is a little more difficult, especially for casual players. If you touch any of the walls or any of these moving yellow things, you die instantly and go straight back to the beginning. In Scalar, the late game levels are like hard, not like the most games where it's like, yeah, it gets harder but it's still manageable. But in Scalar it seems like the late game levels are actually really hard.
So are you saying that it didn't scale up very well?
Aha!
Sorry, I had to do it. I
get
had
it.
to do it, I'm sorry.
You know, it is kind of funny. Like, if you look this game up on Google, like, the first thing you're gonna get is not the video game. You're gonna get, like, HDMI scalars, and you also get, like, little music things. That's why I kind of like to just call this game Scalar 2004, just because it's just more recognized as that. It's also called Scalar the Shape-Shifting Chameleon, I believe, in, like, beta. Alright, that is our egg. It's actually the only one in the level, so this is another one of those levels that just has, like, one, and I meant to press quit. Anyway, next is, arguably the hardest level in the game, casually. We have quite a lot to talk about in this stage, but before we get into it, we have a pretty big skip for the first egg. If Vertigo would like to go into that.
Yeah, so this first egg, you are meant to take 2 vines, and it will take you to this egg. But we can jump around a invisible wall, and jump on the little standable collision we have, and fall down right towards the egg.
I fell down a lot further than I was expecting there. Usually you just land on the egg, but I landed like on the platform.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one before.
So anyway, we got 10,000. We're gonna buy the Steel Claws, which is basically the final claws upgrade. Long story short, we need it. Because otherwise it just makes the late game a lot more bearable. Also, ow.
all the claws really do is let you deal 1 more hit point of damage, and there's only 2 claws in the game, so.
Oh yeah, and yeah.
Steel claws, buying them, they save about I want to say like 3 or 4 minutes, just due to having to deal with enemies not as much.
Yeah, it essentially halves the amount of hits you have to do to enemies. And nice, we got the little skip with the climbing off the panther dude. That one's actually pretty difficult to do. I'm lucky the guy was in like this spot. So all it does is just skip like a small crawling section. It's a small time save, but it helps.
Also
so
gives you a crystal gem.
Yep, that too. So yeah, this is just basically a bunch of battle arenas, and they really loved padding this level out specifically because you have to kill 12 of these dang things. Like, holy crud. These, what are they called? They're called Fruzards. I'd say these are probably some of the most dangerous enemies in the game because when you pile them up with, like, all the regular enemies, they shoot little turrets at you, and it can get really, really annoying, like, if you don't deal with them right away. So I always just like to just slam abuse them to get rid of them right away. With the Steel Claws, I think we can take them down in, like, 3 or 4 hits. If we don't have the Steel Claws, it takes, like, an eternity to kill them. Like, it takes, like, 7 to 8 hits, I think. So, yeah, getting Steel Claws is definitely worthwhile. But yeah, I mean, at this point, like, it just kind of goes without saying, we're just beating up a bunch of dudes and, getting through the section to get the second to last transformation of the game. I guess if you want to go over the transformation, you can, Vertigo, unless we want to wait for it to pop up.
Yeah, might as well do it now. Fruzard, you can, well, you just do exactly what the enemies do. When you want to shoot, you can go into a first-person aiming, and all that. It's pretty boring, honestly. This transformation's not the greatest, but they seem to like it a lot when they were making the game. As we use the Fruzard again in the last level.
Yeah. These Panther dudes are kind of annoying too, because sometimes they can just block your slam attack. So I just abuse slam to, get as much damage on them as possible. Sometimes they can just really, like, sneak up on you and, like, just come out of nowhere and they can just, knock you out. Yeah, this is probably, like, the hardest stage in the game, just because managing your health is very, very important, especially if you're doing 3 health. So here's just another Camouflage Skip. Basically just hop around the sides of the rooms to skip it, nothing too big.
Didn't even explain what they are. Those are cactus or cacti. They pretty much just expand when you're near them, unless you're camouflaged. Yeah, they're pretty weird, but they're not too bad to skip.
God, battling these dudes is so stressful. Okay, we're gonna get that health. Play it safe. Usually when I go through this level, I just try to YOLO it and just try to, like, play balls to the walls and not, with low health. But for marathon purposes, we're gonna try to be a little safer about it. But yeah, like, getting good fights in this stage can also just save a lot of time. If you kill the guys slower, like, it can add up a lot. Yeah, I guess this is a good time to kind of, like, go over any donations, or if you want to do another, like, reminder.
Yeah, I am always good to talk about our charity, or the organization that we are supporting, which is the Organization for Autism Research. Once again, it is a nonprofit organization formed and led by relatives of children, teens, and adults with autism spectrum disorders. OR's mission is to apply research to the challenges of autism. OR does this by funding research related to the intervention and quality of life, providing evidence-based resources that help individuals, families, and professionals within the autism community find answers to the immediate and urgent questions. So once again, !donate to get that Delta link. There it is right there in chat. Every little bit helps. We're $660 out of 1,000. We are ever creeping closer, and I believe we can go ahead and definitely smash that goal. I actually think we can, go even further. But remember, every little bit helps, and just you guys being here, hanging out is super helpful, and we really appreciate everyone.
Alright, cool. So we got the Fruzard now. I showed off a little bit earlier. Basically, you can just shoot stuff. You can also go into first-person mode and snipe enemies from a distance. That's going to be a lot more apparent coming up. Well, in this stage as well. Well, actually, it's going to be more apparent in like the upcoming stages. So, yeah, like right here, we're going to be using this to snipe these little gorilla dude things. I have no idea what they are, but
I just call them moles. It's just boulder throwing dudes, pretty much. You gotta take them out. Their rocks are pretty much a one-hit kill.
Yep. Yeah. It's part of why I don't really like this transformation. It's just so slow-paced. Also, we gotta kill these flying enemies. I believe they're called griffins.
Yes.
Yeah. So, the flying dudes, like the griffins, they just kind of show up out of nowhere a lot of times, so you kind of have to just be on your toes at all times, like whenever you're going through like the stage, because ultimately a lot of this game just comes down to just kind of like trial and error and just kind of memorizing like when enemies show up and like when you can do it. I remember like being so frustrated when I played this level for the first time casually, just because like I'm like, whoa, where these flying dudes come from? But, yeah, it's especially notable in this upcoming section, but luckily we skipped, like, most of the bad parts of this stage. There is still, like, more we can find in the stage to skip more. But anyway, here's a small challenge room. It's just a simple, like, shoot the targets challenge, Super Smash Bros. Style break the targets. I'm actually getting a very good pattern. Easy clap. Ooh, I got 12 seconds. That's cool, because like a couple days ago, I actually also got 12 seconds. Can't remember what it was, but yeah. The targets are also just RNG based, and here's a skip if Vertigo wants to go into it.
Yeah, so it's a very tight jump to get up to the collision on this level, but once we get up here, we can skip a large chunk of this level. Probably the most difficult part of the level. Maybe saves like a minute or two.
That was a very bad camera.
Yeah, the camera can get stuck behind walls sometimes, and it can get a little tough.
But yeah, just shooting these little bubbly things to go through platforms. Nothing too complex. There's a couple platform cycles you can also make if you essentially just try to like rush through the level. I'm gonna try to make one here.
No.
Okay.
Oh wow!
I timed that pretty well. Okay. Okay, I knew that was gonna happen.
Woo.
Yeah. That part was a doozy. Also gonna show off this little egg animation. I think it's just kind of funny. Yeah, they actually put a lot of work into, like, every time Scalar grabs, like, an egg, there's, like, a different animation. That's kind of one of my favorite ones I like to show off. So we're going to next go to the next stage, which is Voidrum. Oh wait, I was supposed to go to the boss fight. Oh well, we're doing Voidrum first, I guess. Yeah, Voidrum. Another level we basically busted pretty well. There is another transformation, and it is the final transformation of the game. A criminally underutilized transformation, mind you. But before we get to use the transformation, again, we have to go through enemy rings, beat up 8 swimming dudes. They're called swooms, I believe. and the usual. I kind of like when the fireballs kind of show up, because all you do with the fireballs is just you run around a bunch, and where you chill, you don't have to like fight or anything. Oh yeah, these fish dudes are also another reason why we get the not the iron claws, the steel claws, because if you don't get the steel claws, they take like 10 hits, compared to, I think it's 5 with the steel claws. Like without them, it's just double the amount. So it's just better to get the claws for this fight, especially. Oh, and these panther dudes can also just fly like at the top of the ring sometimes, and I think they can get stuck.
No, that was weird. Yeah, these guys were introduced in the first level. They have the same moveset pretty much throughout the whole game, except this one level where they can jump on walls and jump at you. During that entire animation of them jumping at you, they're invulnerable.
Yep. Oh, and now we have a random ice section in the fire level. I don't know. I never really got why they put it there. I guess originally it was supposed to be like a fire and ice level, and they just kind of gave up halfway through. But yeah, this is kind of the same concept as before. Beat up a bunch of dudes and progress. Well, I guess I got a couple fun facts I can just kind of talk about while we're, kind of doing this. So, Scalar, if the voice of him sounds familiar, he's actually voiced by Matthew Mercer. If that name sounds familiar, you may know him from Overwatch. He plays, what's his name? Kree. He also plays Crom from Fire Emblem Awakening, and he's also in, like, a bunch of anime. This is like one of his first games where he, got started on with like voice acting. One of his first. I think he was in like a bunch of like 90s SNES games or something. But yeah. And another section where we use the bunny hops again to go through this. I think this is like the level I always go to practice the bunny hops the most, just because it's just the most satisfying, because there's super long treks you can go through. There is like, and the respawn points in this stage are actually generally pretty good too for practicing. So, oh, I got damaged by a fireball.
Mind if I kind of talk about
Oh, go for it.
a little bit? Alright, so I want to remember everybody that not only we're raising money for charity, but to make, it so you guys can actually impact the run, we do have some polls going on, some bid wars. Everybody likes a good bid war, right? So the next one coming up is for Visage. Choose the Easter egg. Do you want the axe, Doom Gun, or Room 302? Personally, I know which one I want, but I'm not gonna, taint everybody's, preference on that. But Doom Gun is in the run. We also have a couple of things for the Resident Evil 2 runs. So, Resident Evil 2 Revelations, cosmetics for Claire. We have Radio, Sniper, Classic, or Standard. We also have cosmetics for Mora. And for Drakengard 3 for the ending. Or I believe it's the hat, actually. It's Red Tower Mikhail, Emil's head, or the giant baby head. Last one that we have coming up is for the 11th hour ending. Do you want Robin, Samantha, or Marie? It is up to you, chat. Definitely get those donations. Exclamation point, donate. And you can impact the runs.
Awesome. Alright, here's the fun bunny hopping section. I like that part. It's just kind of fun to use this power up. Yeah, we don't really have much left in terms of like crystal gem collecting or cloaky grinding. We are gonna get one more bomb from Leon in the upcoming stage. But yeah, at this point, money is just pretty much free because we're fighting so many enemies. You just collect like so many cloakies that honestly it's so easy to over collect. And this is also our final arena. So remember those electricity arm dudes? I kind of like to call them the Thanos guys, because like the little arm thing so like reminds me of like the Infinity Gauntlet. But the difference in this level is they're invisible! But you can still kind of see them, so they're not really
Wait, what? I didn't see him.
any different. You didn't see them. Neither did I. Alright. We got the swoon guy. And now we're immediately going to do one of the coolest glitches in the game with it. I'm going to let you take it away, Vertigo.
Okay, so you, when you're swimming on the surface of the water, and you push up against the slope and go into first person and hold first person the whole time, you will just float upwards. I found this by complete accident while I was trying to clip out of bounds or something like that, and I noticed that I was like slowly floating up when I went into first person, so yeah, it's just completely broken, breaks the whole level apart once you get the transformation. We go straight towards the egg and that's pretty much it.
I like to think it improves the quality of the level, because we skip like a bunch of swimming portions also, and I think we go through like rings and stuff too. So we're going back to this boss fight that I accidentally skipped earlier. But yeah, this is like basically 3-minute auto scroller. You transform into the Fruzard dude and shoot this guy's eyeballs out. I know, very graphic. He also does this little like wind attack where he just kind of blows at you and you just have to like run against them. I mean, that about covers the boss in a nutshell.
Well, in that case, do I have time to read a quick donation?
Sure.
All right. Sorry if I mispronounced this name. Dark Shots. Thank you so much for that $6 donation. Saying, making that number a little more horrible. We have now raised $666 out of our $1,000 goal. Thank you so much, Dark Shots, for that awesome donation.
But yeah, this boss just kind of comes down to just button mashing the shooting part. Okay, so this is the next phase. So he goes all ballistic and breathes fire. He basically destroys the leaves so that we cannot slide back. Personally, I don't really get the point of this section, because, in all honesty, it actually makes the boss even easier, because you don't have to go through this, like, little roller coaster of, like, fun to get to him. But yeah, and at this point, we just turn into Fruzard, and then just shoot the dude's eyeballs. He shoots fireballs at you, but they're not too much of a threat.
I think spamming the shooting actually speeds it up. I think you can just hold it down, can't you?
I don't think you can
It
hold it
doesn't
down,
speed
like,
it up.
you have to, like, press the button to do it, but I never really tried. Yeah, you probably don't have to spam as much, like, as I am. I just do it out of habit.
Fair enough.
Yeah, not a lot to this guy. In the intro cutscene, this dude is basically this military dude. Let's see, he's not really all that interesting. His name is, like, Boot Camp, I think. Scalar calls him Butt Breath, which I find amusing.
Great joke.
Yeah, this game was definitely, like, intended for kids. I think it was advertised as, like, a $20 budget game. Like, so, you know, honestly, for that package, it's pretty good. Like, what you're getting out of it, you're getting, like, 10 full worlds and 10, you know, like, 5 bosses and quite a variety of power-ups. I like this transformation sequence also here. He does, like, a little Irish dance. Alright, so that is that boss fight. Now we're going to go to the final level, Comaldo. And this is my least favorite level. A reason we'll get into soon. So, first off, we have another turret section. It's pretty much the same as the other ones we did before. Like, I don't even know why they bothered including this. I guess they just kind of were like, you know, we only use this turret thing twice. Let's use it again. But, you know, it's not too bad. It's just more enemies, I think. They're not really all that much challenging from the other one. So, think of this as just kind of like a nice little tour of the level. You got anything to add, Bert?
Not really. It's just this level is literally just enemy spamming and just pushing the use of the Fruzard. It's a really straightforward level, but it's just very tedious.
Yeah. This level is also another reason why I dislike the Fruzard transformation, because this is like the third level in the row we're using it now, and I don't know, they just really love this thing for some reason. Jeez, I do not remember this being so long.
Yeah, I think it's like a minute and a half.
Alright, so that section's done. And we got the camera glitch. Sometimes if you like block out, like when you're zooming into the level, the camera just kind of gets all funky. And we're getting slight lag here, but it's fine.
Keep in mind the lag is due to Dolphin emulator, not the game itself.
Yeah. But should fix itself in a little bit once we get on the slides. There we go. So this level also has a branching path. There's 2 eggs. We're gonna go after the long one first, because the long one is easily the boring one. So at this point we have 5,000 cloakies. Once I'm done with this egg, I'll be going back to Leon to purchase the last bomb container for the final boss. Like, there's a couple things here we do, like, there's a couple, like, cacti over there where we can use the camouflage to go through, or we can just skip it because we're pro gamers. Speaking of being pro gamer, we just did the final time we do the bunny hop, I believe. Yeah. This level's just kind of a lot of, like, back and forth switching between the transformations and scalar constantly. And here's the major skip of the level.
It's the only big skip we have on this level so far. This level is very, I guess, dirty. Most of the time. It's very hard to break, and we're still looking for more skips.
Oh yeah. So we got these red dudes. I believe you know the name of them.
Behemoths.
Behemoths, yeah. They take like 10 hits, I think, to kill with the Fruzard. And you fight quite a lot of these. I don't mind them, but they get kind of annoying, like, later on. Also, a big reason why I just don't like the level, just because, like, it's just kind of padded out with those guys, like, everywhere, and you're doing kind of a lot of the same things over and over. So, hopping on this little collision here to skip skip the crawling section. Also trying to avoid spikes. We'll play it safe in electricity, these things. This is kind of just more button spamming. It's also just kind of hard to aim for these dudes. I believe you can actually skip some of these guys. It's just really hard to do, and if you fail it, then you get set back like really far away. So, like, ultimately we don't really go for it yet.
It's just
anyway.
not very consistent, pretty much. Yeah. We're still looking into other methods. This game is still in its very early stages of I guess it's speedrunning. Yeah. So it's not fully optimized yet. A good time, or a very good time for this game would be maybe in the low 110s. Yeah. Very laggy here.
Yeah, okay, we're gonna just take damage intentionally just to jump over these things. Alright, and more button spamming. Yeah, it's kind of this level in a nutshell. Yeah, if you've got any, like, donation reads or, like, you know, things you want to say, this would also be a good time.
No new donations in yet, but I want to remind everybody that we do still have all of those wonderful, wonderful incentives. So once again, we have the polls going on. The next one coming up is for Visage Choose That Easter Egg. We have the Axe, Doom Gun, or Room 302. Which one are we going to see? After that, we have for Drakengard 3. Which hat do you want them to wear? The Red Tower Mikhail, Emil's head, or the Giant Baby's head? You know what? They're all fantastic options, but we can only have one, and it's your choice. After that, we have the 11th hour ending. Do you want Robin, Samantha, or Marie? So exclamation point and donate to get to that Tiltify link. Every donation is super helpful, and you get to choose how to impact the runs.
Okay, we're low on health. I'm gonna try to find some health here. Hopefully there's some, I think there's some in the back. Boulder guys are back. Back with a vengeance. And once again, we're gonna skip using the camouflage by just kind of jumping in like the corners and then sniping these guys from distance. And is this the last guy? I can't remember.
Yeah, this is the Lost Behemoth, I believe.
I swear, it takes an eternity to kill this guy sometimes. Alright, he's down! So, earlier we did do some, like, an arena skip. Nothing really much to explain there aside from just hop on the corners of, like, the edges of the platform to avoid them. And this is our final arena skip right here. This is probably the easiest arena skip in the game, because all you do is just hop on this corner and then slam to reach this platform. No bunny hops, no, like, long corners, just, you know, one hop and go. Alright, let's get these plants dudes out of the way. Okay. Hopefully that's the last time you'll have to hear me mash that much. Yeah, that is the long egg. Now we're gonna go for the objectively better and faster egg. Before we do that, bomb container for 5,000, because the more we have for the final boss, the better. Just have to go through this, like, beginning bit again. So, what is it, the roller coaster, like, slide parts, they get pretty intense in this stage. Like, they're all about just kind of, like, reaction time, and I remember this egg took me a while to get, like, when I was first playing through this game. Like, you know, the first part's not bad, but when you get to this, upcoming part, like, dude, you have to have, like, really good reflexes to, like, react in time for that. Also, just you have so much stuff to like avoid, so I just kind of jump spam to get through that. So this egg we're about to get and the egg we got before, like if you look on the map, like it's like literally left of us. So right now we're working on a way. We're trying to find like maybe a way to get the other egg, you know, by coming from here. If we could do that, that would save like 7 to 8 minutes off of this level in general, and that would like be huge. But fortunately, there's not really like a slope and stuff we can go off of right now. So final boss time. I guess I'll let Vert explain the final boss.
Yeah. So Luger works in 2 phases, I think. First phase is very lengthy. You have to hit him with these electric bombs. I think it's every 3 times you hit him, he spawns in some enemies. From easy enemies to the most difficult one. So you got these little dudes here, and then the next time will be the panther looking guys, and then there's a little mini boss on the last one.
Oh yeah.
Here Harsh is just charging up some bombs as you avoid Luger's attacks, and yeah.
And third hit. Let's see if he spawns an enemy now. Yep, we got the panther dudes. I probably should have actually saved electric bomb for these guys, just so they don't move around as much, but that's okay. Yeah, I like this boss. Honestly, it's probably the most fun boss in the game. It's just satisfying, like getting to shock him, and you know, it's a lot of moving around, dodging stuff.
Definitely the most difficult boss, which is nice. Always
Yeah.
want to have the final boss being the most difficult.
Oh yeah, and he summons these portal things to try to stop you from going to like the corners to charge. I think those are also RNG, so like again, you know, just feel and react and hope that the charging station is next to you and the portals don't land on here. So here's
the mini boss.
Mini boss, yeah. You can just cheese him. Shocking him and then ground pound slamming like we've been doing for most of the enemies in this game. So, ends up being pretty anticlimactic right there. Yeah, at this point it's just
Try not to.
defeating him.
The biggest downside of this final boss is if you die at all, you get sent back to the very beginning. So even if you're on phase 2, it will send you back to phase 1, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah. So this is phase 2. Luger starts by using his like mash attack on the concrete. I guess you need him to hit those so we can charge. Sometimes it takes him a little while to like hit them. Like sometimes he doesn't always just hit the charge stations even when it so it looks like he does. So right here I'm just waiting to charge one bomb and just shocking him immediately.
Please grab that health.
Yep. Marathon's safe, my friend. Alright. And I'm gonna charge the 3 bombs because he'll take 3 hits to kill. And that's it. We won. So after you shock him once, he'll just come back here and then we just spam R twice. And time will end when I shock him in the last time, when the fade comes in. So time is now. That was Scalar, everyone. That was
GG.
yeah, thanks. Do you know what my time was? I didn't actually run like a timer while I was going through.
I'm on a little bit of a delay, but it looks like it's going to be around 1:33. I can tell you a little bit more once the delay catches. Oh, 1:32:48. There we go.
Okay. That's pretty good for also watching 2 cutscenes.
Where's Luger?
Yeah, they definitely went all out with like the cinematics in this game, including this
Gotta
little
watch
ending
the
bit.
ending.
Yeah.
There's our way home. It's unstable. We'll have to hurry.
What are we waiting for?
So Luger gets his little button thing and he sends Bobby back to his world.
Yeah! Oh. Dad? You gotta make it! You gotta make it through! Dad!
So the game ends on a little cliffhanger. Not the most satisfying ending. But there is actually like a secret ending if you 100% the game that shows what happens. But because it's 90%, we didn't do that. Yeah, that was Scalar, everyone.